so proudly we hailed, and the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars pull the perilous fights. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets ran the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, traitors that star-spangled banner, yeah, all the land under the frame, you're the home of the brave.
Don't be afraid, this is a low fat, and you are listening to HonestAnswerRadio.com. Now, where is the egg roll you guys promised me?
The views and opinions expressed on the Honest Answer Radio show are the opinions of Honest Answer Media and no one else. If you're hearing a syndicated broadcast of this show, don't hold it against the broadcaster. Rather, congratulate them on their openness, tolerance, and respect for the First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America. Thank you very much.
He was working on his laptop late one night when his eyes beheld a ghoulish sight. He could not log in despite several tries, and then suddenly, to no one's surprise, he did the healthcare mash. It was a keyboard smash. The website would crash. We did the healthcare mash. Who designed such a site so flawed and so sloppy? The code is so ancient, perhaps it was Hammurabi. He tried to apply, but the site would suspend. I've seen a Unix with a more functional front end. He did the healthcare mash. It was a keyboard smash. He tried to clear his cache. Then did the healthcare mash. Hundreds of millions of dollars were spent for a website that has trouble loading. How could the government's web designers create a site with such awful coding? They did the mash. Oh, they did the healthcare mash. It was a keyboard smash. They took all of our cash and did the healthcare mash. You know, 3 years really isn't that long to build a website, especially one that has to do one thing. I'm just saying.
And welcome to Honest Answer Radio, coming to you courtesy of Green Acres. No, courtesy of where are we coming from? Oh yeah, HonestAnswerRadio.com, where we're kicking the mainstream media in the teeth every chance we get. I'm going to be your host, one of your hosts this evening. I'm going to be the Mr. Haney portion of the show tonight.
And since I'm sitting over here opposite Mr. Haney, it must be Thursday night. Marty must have something wrong with his throat. So that makes me the Casey half of the show tonight. But I'm the scary Casey half because I didn't shave today.
Oh, well. Yeah, I'm going to be doing the Mr. Haney thing tonight. I don't really know what happened to my voice. I woke up this morning this way. I figured it was Halloween. You know.
Well, just so you know, you look as bad as your voice sounds. I'm just saying, but you always look that bad. So
I look like a candidate for rehab right now. That's all right. You know, this is Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody. We've, I guess you could say we've got a scary show lined up tonight.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about current events. That's always scary.
You got that right. We'll be talking about Obamacare. That should scare the hell out of everybody.
We're going to be talking about Hillary.
Yeah. You know, earlier today, I had Glenn Beck gave us had given me an idea about. You know, he did like an Edgar Allan Poe reading tonight or today, and I didn't want to copy him, so I thought maybe we should make up our own Halloween story, and I wanted it to be something to the effect of, you know, Barack Obama gets impeached, and that gives us President Joe Biden.
That would be scary indeed.
Yeah.
I mean, just thinking about it scares the heck out of me.
Cue in horror movie scream there.
Ah!
And then it got worse. Then Joe Biden, he would be found to be incompetent. So the next in the order of succession would be John Boehner, Speaker of the House, if I'm getting this right.
Less scary than Barack Obama, less scary than Joe Biden, but still pretty scary.
Scary nonetheless, because of his willingness to go along with all things Democrat. And if that didn't, if John Boehner somehow, you know, he would tick off the wrong lefty. You know, most of the shootings and you know the people willing to pull off, you know, assassinations and stuff, most of those come from the left. So, you know, Boehner's time would be limited. That would give us John Kerry.
And let me tell you, that you're scaring people out there.
I know. I'm going to stop the story there because, quite frankly, I couldn't finish it. I scared myself so bad I locked myself in the bathroom for 2 hours.
Yeah, see, Marty and I were serious. We were gonna come out and tell you a Halloween story, but we decided that there ain't no point in just scaring y'all so, you know, that bad.
Not to mention the truth about, you know, what is going on right now, October 31st, 2013, is scarier than any amount of fiction that Casey or I could possibly conjure up.
Yeah, because on Sunday, John Kerry leaves the U.S. to go on a little Middle East trip, but he's going to swing by Poland first.
Oh, boy.
And he's going to have to.
Are our relations too good with Poland now? They got to send John Kerry over there to screw those up too?
You know, I don't know, man. He's going to be having to answer questions about, you know, the NSA spying things. Look, am I the only one that really doesn't care if we were spying on the Pope?
No, I don't think you're the only one that doesn't care.
I mean,
the only people that I really object to our NSA spying on
is American citizens.
Is the American citizens, because they're not supposed to do that. Period. Point. That's it. Full stop.
Yeah, we're not the enemies. We, the people, are not the enemy of the United States government.
Much like the Central Intelligence Agency, all of their efforts, all of the NSA's efforts are supposed to be directed away from the United States. They're not supposed to be listening to a thing that happens here. Unless, of course, they intercept a phone call, you know, that is originated from a terrorist haven or from a known terrorist to another known terrorist here in this country. What gets me is everybody's, you know, they're feigning all this surprise as if, you know, oh my gosh, I had no idea the NSA was doing so much spying. Really?
Well,
you didn't? Really?
Well, you know, the thing is, and we've talked about this before, the other leaders around the world, they know, I mean, they spy on us too.
Yeah.
You know, they know that it's going on. They know that they're getting spied on. The reason why they're so offended, even though they're not going to own up to it, but I think you and I know that this is true, They're angry because the United States can't be trusted to keep the secrets.
Right. Bad tradecraft, man.
They're more offended that the United States was spying on them and then let everybody know about it. See,
or that they would hire such a I don't want to say incompetent, because obviously the kid, he did manage to inflict some damage on us, but hiring someone like an Edward Snowden
as a contractor.
Yeah. Do you think they're not the KGB anymore? FSB, is that what they are now?
I can't keep them all straight.
Alphabets. But do you think that the KGB would have been so lax in their hiring practices that they would hire someone that would tell us all of their secrets?
I don't know. I mean, we have had defectors, that came over from the former Soviet Union and defected to the United States, but none of them blew the lid off. None of them had enough information at their fingertips, because this was back in the days before the internet, before personal computers and stuff.
Right.
And nowadays, if you've got some dirt on somebody, you can spread it all over the world in like a tenth of a second.
Yeah, which he did.
Which is exactly, yes, he did.
And that's why he's now living in Russia.
But does it frighten me? Is there something wrong with spying on the Pope? No, not at all. And let me tell y'all why.
Tell us.
The Vatican does not... Well, number one, they're not American. The Vatican is not always going to act in the best interest of the United States.
Oh, you mean like when they got behind this little Austrian corporal back in the 40s?
and then got out from behind him and then started helping the Allies. I mean, that was great. That was great. But you can't always trust the Vatican and all those cardinals who come from countries around the world.
Do you care if they were spying on Angela Merkel? Germany's
no, they better have been spying on Angela Merkel. I am mad that it got that now Angela Merkel knows exactly how we spied on her.
Yeah.
But am I mad that we were spying on people that are at least in name are our allies? No, they spy on us. I mean, everybody spies on everybody else. That's what governments do. Am I upset about it? No. I am really, really, really upset that the NSA has completely lost its mind and allowed somebody like Edward Snowden to get their hands on such important information. That's what I'm angry about.
It was almost as if it was by design.
Almost, but I don't think it was, because I don't think anybody that works for the NSA wants this much egg on their face. I'm pretty darn sure that Barack Obama didn't want all the domestic spying known all over the place. I mean,
but that's what got him hung right there, was the sheer amount of domestic spying that's been done.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we're supposed to be secure in our homes, in our we're supposed to be secure in our privacy, man. To a certain degree, you have a certain expectation of privacy when you use the telephone or your own, computer, unless, of course, you're logging on to healthcare.gov, in which case you
have no reasonable expectation of privacy there, according to that website.
No NSA required.
Right.
So,
No, the IRS will handle that part, that little domestic spying. So,
absolutely.
So there, folks. We're not upset that the NSA was spying on the Pope. If I was to find out that the NSA was spying particularly on the Society of Jesus, otherwise known as the Jesuits,
right,
I darn sure wouldn't be upset.
No.
Jesuits are so. And don't get me wrong, man. Look, in the past, I had a friend of mine who was a priest in the Society of Jesus.
Really?
Yeah. And It doesn't bother me, but that man could rationalize just about anything if he really tried. And so, excuse me. The Jesuits is sneaky. I love them.
Yeah, we're probably going to get some hate mail for that.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love them. But at the same time, hey, let have a Jesuit look me in the eye and tell me he ain't sneaky.
Yeah. Well, the NSA wasn't the only, that's not the only scary thing.
No, unfortunately, no, Marty. Dude, that's not the only scary thing.
I was reading an article that Tina pointed out to me today on BizPack Review, and it involved Eric Holder. And Ted Cruz has even made a couple of speeches about this very thing. Apparently, Eric Holder is perfectly willing to cede all of our sovereignty to the UN.
Well,
as long as,
what's going on there, and we should be scared because this case is being argued in front of the Supreme Court now.
Mm-hmm. Bond. Let's see, it is Bond versus the United States, isn't it?
Yeah. When we're talking about national sovereignty, what we're talking about here is, in this particular court case, the UN treaty that we have conflicts with our Constitution. Well, Eric Holder is perfectly comfortable going and arguing that treaty with the UN should supersede the Constitution of the United States. Now, is that scary to y'all?
Well, look, let's give a little background here.
Mm-hmm.
What happened was, this woman, all right, she had found out that another woman was fooling around with her man, all right? And the woman A, Bond, apparently got her revenge with a chemical.
Mm-hmm.
And
really, a household chemical, from what I'm understanding.
Now, this should have been a state charge.
Right.
It could have been handled in the state courts. But what I would say, an overzealous U.S. attorney, prosecuting attorney, picked this case up and charged her with violating an international chemical weapons treaty.
Yeah.
And let me see. I want to get the right. Let's see here. According to the Washington Examiner, all right, she's been charged with violating the international ban on chemical weapons because she used toxic chemicals to harass a former friend. Let's see. In Bond's case, the federal government prosecuted her under the Chemical Weapons Convention Implementation Act. That law, I'm quoting here, that law implements the Chemical Weapons Convention, the international treaty Syrian dictator Bashar Assad is accused of violating in that country's vicious civil war.
So wait a minute. We'll go and whoop up on this woman,
right,
an American citizen,
right,
for it, but Assad gets a pass.
Absolutely. Well,
we let Vladimir Putin handle that.
That's what I was going to say. The problem here is that we didn't ask Vladimir Putin to step in and redefine this case. If this woman had just hired Vladimir Putin, she would have got the pass, but she didn't.
But this international convention, this is a treaty that we signed with the United Nations. This is saying that United Nations law takes precedent over our Constitution. This crime should have been prosecuted at the state level. And I'm sure that the state was prosecuting it.
Well, and it's not, this is not a unique believe it or not, this is a unique case, but this is not unique in that it's not the first time Eric Holder has wanted to let a UN treaty override the United States Constitution. Let's not forget, Eric Holder was seriously pushing the UN Small Weapons Treaty.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, it's still there at the Senate waiting to be ratified, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I don't think you're mistaken, because I think the president went ahead and signed it, or John Kerry did.
Yep.
Went
John
ahead
Kerry
and signed
did.
it. Okay.
Yep.
So
it just hasn't been ratified. And think now. We have two political parties primarily in this country that are in control, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what political party cares the least about your Second Amendment constitutional right?
Oh, that would be the Democrats.
Right. What political party holds a majority in the Senate?
That would be the Democrats.
Uh-huh.
Are y'all scared yet?
What legislative body ratifies treaties?
The Senate. Are y'all scared yet?
Yeah, happy Halloween, everybody. I mean, let's not forget, too, the UN's Agenda 21. Everybody thinks that's some big conspiracy theory. But, you know, it's funny to me. Everybody that's accused me of being a nutcase conspiracy theorist when I mentioned Agenda 21, when I told them to look this up for yourself, I'm not going to give you anything to read. No. You look this up on your own, away from me. You get away from me all by yourself, and you look this up, and you do the reading yourself. To a person, every one of them has come back going, oh, my God. The president would have everyone believe that this is just a harmless agricultural treaty. But it sure does give the UN a whole lot of control over U.S. soil.
Oh, and literally over our dirt.
Yeah, and our seeds.
Yes.
Our crops. Who can grow what?
That's
when?
right.
And how much?
And we're not talking about big commercial agribusiness here. We're talking about somebody coming to you on your land and saying, no, you can't plant corn. You've got to plant soybeans.
And by the way, you can't have any of those soybeans. They've got to go to the collective.
Yes. We've got to send those to Botswana.
Right. That's Agenda 21, folks.
Oh, no. You can't plant watermelons. The world has plenty of watermelon. We don't need you to plant it here. You are going to plant cantaloupes.
Right.
Sorry if you don't like to eat them. You're not going to get to anyway, because we're going to come harvest those, and we're going to take them and feed Burundi.
You remember what happened? Remember what happened in Russia after the Communist Revolution when they did something very similar?
Yeah, the state came and told you what you were going to plant, how much you were going to plant, and what your harvest had better be, comrade.
And do you remember what happened to, like, say, little kids that their families were starving and they ran into a field and nicked a couple of potatoes?
Oh, they got shot.
On sight. But that would never happen here, would it?
No.
Oh, no.
Because, you know,
Of course not.
Because number one, man, we would never give our, local police departments things like mine-resistant armored personnel carriers and things like that to bust down your doors with either, would we?
No, or we wouldn't give Homeland Security hundreds of thousands of rounds of like pepper spray bullets or tear gas bullets. Hundreds of thousands, by the way.
No, we wouldn't do that.
We wouldn't. No, of course not. We wouldn't stockpile so much ammunition for Homeland Security that
they could fight 6
couldn't
wars.
Find any.
Yeah, we would. Well, yes, we did. Yes, we did, and yes, we did. Are y'all scared yet? You should be. If you're not scared yet, we got a lot more.
I'm cool with the label conspiracy theorist when it comes to the UN. I live with that. But just because you happen to believe in a certain conspiracy theory doesn't necessarily mean that there's not a conspiracy there.
Well, I mean, the rest of the...
Or that there's no, it's not a valid...
If y'all think that the rest of the world looks at what we've got and doesn't want to engineer some way to get their greedy little paws on it, then y'all are living in a dream world. Of course, I know that people that listen to this show regularly and routinely, they already know this stuff.
And they also know that we also have a president who thinks largely along those same lines. And as a matter of fact, our current president also has eyes on another prize after he leaves office here. Now, where would that be again?
I bet you he goes straight to work. Now, he hasn't come out and said this. Nobody around him is talking about it. This is a theory that Marty and I have. It's a theory that we can't support with fact, except the one thing we can point to is the enormous ego of Barack Obama. And after being President of the United States, in his mind, the only other higher office that he could get would be President of the UN. Don't think for a second, folks.
The only way some of these treaties would get through the United States was if they had somebody on the inside there at the UN in a really strong, powerful seat. You know, much like the Secretary General of the United Nations.
Yeah, see, you know, again, this is just theory. This is just me and Marty just sitting back.
But since
and
it's
going,
Halloween, you know.
But it is Halloween.
And
now,
we're trying to scare each other
Can
here.
you imagine Secretary General of the UN, Barack Obama?
Oh, gosh. With all of his great bastion of disciples and followers that hang on his every word.
And now, if y'all ain't ready to be peeing in your pants now over this, well, just wait. We got a lot more.
Oh, yeah. Look, we didn't want to spend a whole lot of time here, but since I've got audio on it, you know, the really scary part of the night, something that we're having to deal with right now, the scourge of our nation, Obamacare. Yesterday, now this really did scare me. Yesterday, there was a congressional hearing, and they had Kathleen Sebelius in the hot seat, man. They had her right there, right where they wanted her. All these GOP congressmen. Oh, you wait till we get Kathleen Sebelius. Boy, are we going to let her have it. I heard one Republican congressman from Texas want to know if he saw her on a tricycle in the 3rd grade. Really, Congressman?
Yeah.
That's what you got. There were two Congress people that really went after her. One was Mike Rogers from Michigan.
From Michigan.
And he got on her about the website security.
Yes, he did.
You know, that
he did light into her.
And the other one was Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee. And, you know, she was trying to pin Sebelius down on who hired these people. Give me a name. We want to know who you talked to. Whose fault is this? Now, after a little bit of back and forth, you know, Sebelius finally just throws up her hands. This is all my fault. I take full responsibility. If you want to blame somebody, blame me. I'll shoulder all the blame. No, sister. No. It ain't going to be that easy. Or it shouldn't have been that easy.
When she was governor of Kansas, she was one of the first to come out for Barack Obama, even though she didn't really know him personally. It's not like they were buddies or anything. The woman has a streak of loyalty in her, which is actually admirable. Okay? Kathleen Sebelius, no matter what you think of her, don't think of the woman as stupid, and don't think of her as gutless, because you'd be wrong on both counts. She is perfectly capable of attempting to be the insulation between Barack Obama and this Obamacare mess.
So that he will get, again, so that nothing will stick to him.
Right. So that the media, she's perfectly okay with the media hating her.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? It's just like she said the other week. The people who are so angry with her right now, she said, I don't work for them. That's what please don't believe me. Don't believe me that she said that. Look that one up on your own. She said it. going to work for them. As a matter of fact, while we're sitting here talking about it, I'm going to go get that audio clip.
Well, see, I mean, like I said, don't mistake this woman for being either dumb or gutless, because she's neither.
She wouldn't have gotten a job.
No,
if she had,
there's a lot of backbone in her, and if it sounds like I'm admiring her, well, pretty much the way you have to give respect to your opponents if you're going to have to be playing them in a football game. You'd better respect them if you're going to plan to fight them. And so this is just giving her the things that she is due, so that nobody out there thinks she's going to just be a pushover, and that she's going to cave over and go, all right. The president was the one that got me, had me hire these people.
Let's let her speak for herself. I did find this clip. Listen to this.
The website being up and running by October 1st. Who have you fired?
No one has been fired. My goal is to actually get the website up and running.
Madam Secretary,
have you offered your
what is
resignation,
your response to people who are calling for you to resign?
Well, the majority of people calling for me to resign, I would say, are people who I don't work for and who do not want this program to work in the first place.
She don't work for those people, Casey. Anybody that would call for her to resign, or anybody that would, be angry with her, it doesn't matter to her because she doesn't work for them.
Right.
Even
she
though,
doesn't work for everybody in the United States.
And she's referring to congressmen, senators, and the press. Let's be clear about that. I'm using one of Jay Clarney's lines. Let's be clear. She is referring to members of the House, members of the Senate, and members of the press. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Case. This is going to be, off the wall, but aren't they American citizens?
Yes.
I mean, like the reporters that work for the Washington Post. Most of those guys are citizens, right?
Most of them.
They get paychecks, right?
Right.
Pay taxes, right?
Right.
That makes them taxpayers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who is it that the Secretary of Health and Human Services works for again?
She works for taxpayers.
So the people, let's just watch this. I'm calling for Kathleen Sebelius' resignation.
She don't work for you.
But she don't work for me.
She don't work for you.
Actually, I'm not one of those calling for her resignation, though. I think she should stay around.
Yeah, see,
and be made to fix this
yeah.
mess.
See, Marty and I, we're not saying that we want this woman fired. We actually don't.
But we do want to rake over the coals
a
lot, and a lot more than the GOP was willing to do yesterday.
Yeah, see, look, she does continue to work for us. If she was fired today, tomorrow she would land a high-paying private sector job. I promise you she would. She wouldn't miss a beat. All right?
Which, in a way, she's kind of hoping.
And she would be able to just walk away from this mess scot-free. No, we don't want that to happen. There will be, no matter, if we fired her today, did you think Barack Obama would appoint a Republican in her place? Come on, give me a break. It would either be, it would be another Democrat, and it could be somebody potentially worse than her.
Yeah.
So when it comes to presidential appointees, and the only person that works for Barack Obama right now that Marty and I would really, really like to see actually just fired would be Eric Holder.
Yeah.
Because he causes more messes than he's ever tried to clean up. So, yeah, we would like to see him gone, because it's hard to conceive of a worse
or more racist
Attorney General for the United States.
Yeah.
So,
and after all, this is the era of, scolding racists, right?
Right.
So, he's the biggest. He is like the top racist in the country.
Well, he don't like Ted Cruz, so he must be racist.
He's got to be.
The only reason why anybody could not like Ted Cruz is because they're racist.
Brown. That's right.
Yeah. You just don't like Hispanics.
Dude, did you get a chance to see Megyn Kelly and the Congressman Putz from New Jersey?
Pallone, Congressman Pallone. Yes,
Putz.
as a matter of fact, I did.
You can call him Pallone if you want. To me, he is, from this day forward, Congressman Putz from New Jersey.
I know he's an arrogant, and the P word did come up, but it wasn't Putz that I had in mind. But he thinks he knows better than you do, Marty, what's good for you.
Absolutely.
In healthcare and pretty much everything else.
Poor Megyn. She tried every way she could to get through to this man. You know, she was talking to him about people having their insurance policies canceled.
Mm-hmm.
And he refused. I mean, he refused to even acknowledge that these people are losing their insurance. Listen to this.
Joining me now, Democratic New Jersey Congressman Frank Pallone. He's a member of the Energy and Commerce Committee. He was one of the lawmakers questioning the Secretary today. Congressman, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
That we're struggling to understand how Ms. Sebelius can say the President kept that promise, that specific one of, if you like your health care, you can keep it, period. I guarantee it, when we've seen 2 million Americans have their policies canceled so far, and the estimates are it'll top 10 million.
Well, you can keep it as long as the insurance company agrees to continue to sell it. But the problem is a lot of insurance companies now have been caught because they're selling lousy plans at a high price that are skeletal and don't provide any benefits. So they're now canceling those lousy plans, in which case many of them are just a scam, and saying, look, we're not going to sell this anymore because nobody's going to buy it, and therefore we'll give you a better plan that has better benefits at a more affordable price. So the President never said that he could stop the insurance companies from canceling plans. This is a private market. This is a competitive market.
But
they're not
that's
going to sell something
true.
they can't sell.
But what you're saying is only
What's
partially true. There are
true?
some insurance companies who cancel policies, and that's what insurance
They
companies...
canceled the policies.
Let me say...
They don't have to sell them. It's a private market.
Let me pose the question, then you respond. Some of the insurance companies said, all right, I'm going to cancel the policies because that happens on the insurance market. But many, many other policies. In fact, according to the insurance companies, the vast majority of these policies that are being canceled because the regulations imposed on them by Obamacare left them with no choice. The way
that
the
is
HHS...
absolutely not true. They have a right to continue the policies the way they want.
She admitted it today,
sir. He did not admit that.
She
That's
did
simply
too.
not true.
She was asked
the
about
insurance
whether...
companies can cancel the policy they want to. They can also offer the policies at the same price with the same lousy benefits
If
that they want to.
If they change the policies in any marginal way, then Obamacare requires that they be canceled and the people get kicked off.
No, that's not true.
She was asked about this today. A $5 increase in your premium. Wait,
Obamacare says
let's run
simply...
this soundbite. Let's run this soundbite. $5 change. $5 change, and you're kicked off. Watch.
That you
Stand
can
by.
continue to...
If coinsurance went up by any amount, even by $1 according to your regulations, that would not qualify as a grandfathered clause. Just to have that out there for the record. I gather even by $1.
Dr. Cassidy, I want to start by the amount that you gave is not accurate. I was told $5, not $1.
For that.
She's not saying, no, that you're wrong, they can't cancel the people if the policy changes by $5. She's saying, yes, you're right. If they up your premium by $5, it's canceled. Obamacare kicks in. The person gets a cancellation notice, and they're wondering where to get their insurance.
They tell them where they can get the insurance. Look, the bottom line is, if you're selling a lousy policy at a price that's too high, nobody's going to buy it.
You say, it's not daytime, Casey.
It's not
ball
daytime.
Up in the sky. It's not the sun. It's not daytime. It's really night. That's the moon. It's just really bright.
Yeah, see... Even when faced with the fact of the woman sitting there saying if they change your policy by $5, then cancel it. His whole thing is, well, we're going to get you insurance that's better for you, regardless of what you think and feel.
Regardless of whether or not you need this particular coverage, like yours and my maternity care.
Yeah. See, I'm going to have to be paying for maternity care, and I actually have... This may shock you, Marty. I have no plans of getting pregnant.
Are you serious?
None. I am not going to have a baby. I'm not going to do it.
Oddly enough, I have no plans of being pregnant either.
Do you realize if you're 60 years old and you're a woman, you're still paying for maternity care.
Yep. But see, he's saying that, these insurance companies, nobody's going to buy it because it's such a lousy product. Excuse me, dude, they were perfectly willing to be paying for this. They've been paying these premiums. They are happy with their insurance. That was part of the reason that the president went on this big lie tour to say, I believe today they found like over 40 instances where the man has said, if you like your insurance,
you can keep
your
it.
Current policy, you can keep it.
Period.
That leaves no, when somebody says, period, that leaves no wiggle room most of the time. Unless, of course, you're Barack Obama, in which case, period really means, unless you read the fine print. And
now this jerk is getting out here acting like we all should have known all of this anyway, that the president's saying all this crap, we should have known that he was lying.
And the president himself is putting all of this on the insurance companies themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, these are just rogue insurance companies.
Yeah, kind of like all those rogue employees, low-level rogue employees at the IRS.
Right. This is, I guess, why, the top 3 insurers in the nation are pulling out of some states altogether. They're just rogue insurance agencies, Casey. It's nothing to do with the fact that people aren't going to be able to afford their policies.
And if y'all don't think that it wasn't exactly planned this way, then y'all are crazy, because what this is a desire and a plan put in place, operating right now, right this instant, to put private insurers out of business.
That way we can get to that lovely single-payer system.
Where the government covers all your health care, some of your health care needs.
A couple of your health care needs.
Yeah, maybe 1 or 2. And it'll be real expensive. See, we tried to tell y'all, every conservative on the planet has been screaming about this for years, that they were pushing for a single-payer plan. Now do y'all see what we were talking about? Do you fully understand now that you are looking at socialized medicine as a goal of the Obama administration? And not only the Obama administration. Folks, it's much deeper than that. There are tons and tons of Democrats out there that think single payer is the way to go. And now, see, they've given themselves ammo by forcing insurance companies to do all these things and forcing insurance down this road. They're trying to bankrupt the insurance companies, trying to drive them out of business so that, in their mind, we would have no choice but to go the single-payer route. Single-payer insurance means that the government provides it. This means socialized medicine.
She even said as much to Jon Stewart. If we had gotten what we wanted in the beginning, which was a single-payer system, none of this would have been necessary. Again, don't believe me. If you're listening to us, then you've got a computer. Go to YouTube. Kathleen Sebelius, Jon Stewart interview. Look it up. That was the goal all along.
Socialized medicine is the goal and has always been the goal of Barack Obama.
And there's a little audio clip of Barack Obama.
We played it last week.
Yeah.
We played it last week. So, here you go.
But why isn't he just saying, why isn't the president just saying, since all of this is starting to come out, now would be a great time for him to say, well, look, this is the transition period that I was referring to back in 2007.
I know why he's not. What? I know why he's not. Because he's a pathological liar.
That's ding, 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 ding. I think we have a winner. But, the media says this is, half the media is now jumping on Barack's back and saying, you lie. But the other half is they're still doing their duty, their due diligence.
They're blaming all those nasty, dirty capitalist, for-profit insurance companies.
Oh, yeah. Listen to Chuck Todd. Todd, I can't stand it. Just listen to Chucky.
They are. They're taking it on. But is the administration that naive to not know the insurance companies were going to do this? And I tell you, they did this with Medicare Part D, and they're doing it here. Ultimately, you cannot write legislation and hope the insurance companies are going to... They wrote legislation, basically, let the insurance companies write this legislation.
Exactly.
The president let the insurance company write this legislation, Medicare Part D, and then everybody screamed, well, this is what happens when you let the insurance company charge us, right?
Interesting look.
Well, I just want to ask the question.
All right. Let me ask you a question, Casey. Do you think that it was in the insurance company's best interest to make their premiums so high that the average American would not be able to afford them?
No.
Does that sound like the insurance company's business model to you? To price themselves out of business?
That doesn't make sense.
You know, they keep wanting to throw this around. Well, this is a free market. This is a capitalist system.
See, no, it's not. Once the government gets in and tells you how to run your market, it is not a free market anymore.
No. When the government picks winners and losers,
then the market is not free.
You know, believe it or not, this isn't the first time they've done something like this. It just came out, I think it was either this week or last week, that when the government went to bail out the auto industry, it was Barack Obama that told General Motors, if you want this money, you got to ditch Pontiac. At a time when Pontiac was rolling out re-rolling out the GTO, you know, one of their all-time best-selling automobiles. They went through this revamping process with it, made that thing look new and sleek. It was selling pretty good.
Yeah, it was. But see, that was when capitalists ran General Motors.
Right. That was when it was General Motors and not government motors.
And I'm sorry, and the thing is, GM, this is what you wanted. You went to the government for a bailout. You asked for it, so suck it up, Buttercup.
Yup. But the thing here with the insurance companies is they didn't go to the government for help. And the insurance companies did not write this legislation. And what they're talking about with Part D, where the insurance companies wrote the legislation, no. What happened is before Part D came out, before it came along, they had this big powwow with all of the insurance companies and said, how can we do this to where it's not going to hurt you, where it'll actually help the insurance companies and help the people at the same time? And the insurance companies said, well, if you're wanting to do this and you're not trying to run us out of business, well, then this, and this need to happen. As you can see, Part D it's had some success.
It's also had some miserable failure.
Yes,
it is not perfect.
But the insurance companies did not write the legislation. They don't. They can't.
No, and a large part of why Part D had such a sticky rollout when it rolled out was because in some of the cases the government didn't take the insurance company's advice. They had never intended to, never had desire to implement everything that the insurance company said would actually be necessary to do it and make it work for everybody. No. They took the part, they cherry-picked, and then blamed the insurance companies when things got rocky.
Now, see, in this instance, did they go to the insurance companies and say, you guys help us work this out?
Yes, they did. They went to the insurance companies, and the insurance companies had input. The problem is, when it came time to write the law, they didn't do the things that the insurance companies...
What, again? You're saying, wait.
Now we're going back to that whole pathological liar thing.
You must be joking.
Because there's no way that a free market capitalist running an insurance company is going to swallow socialized medicine and put himself out of a job. See, and you think about how many people work in the insurance companies. You know those actuarial tables that life insurance and health insurance are based on?
Oh, yeah.
You know, they're kind of like legalized gambling charts and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
See, Obamacare completely does away with that. An insurance company has no way now to protect itself from risk.
Well, see, it was my understanding that that's what insurance is or was. You insured yourself against a risk. It wasn't designed to be health care.
No, and see, all along, the Obama administration, and they've been extremely successful in doing it, but the Obama administration has all along been equating health insurance with health care.
Ah.
Now, what's happening around the country, there are doctors doing what they call concierge care, where you pay for what you get. They don't accept insurance. You pay for services out of pocket.
Right.
Okay. It's more expensive care, but the doctor sets his own quota for how many patients they're going to see during the day. Instead of the government saying, okay, you're going to see 40 patients today, which basically is dictated when the government tells a doctor you can only make X amount of dollars per patient. So the doctor has no choice but to see 40, 60 patients, however much it takes them to put themselves into a spot where they're actually making a living by practicing medicine. See, that if under a concierge care type of situation, the doctor sets his or her own limits for how many patients they're going to see in a day, and they are able then to adjust the quality of care that they give to their individual patients. And they set their prices so that they can make a living practicing medicine. Watch. Having people squirt out from under Obamacare and squirt away from socialized medicine will cause the government to crack down, and there won't be any. You watch. The next step will be every doctor in the United States will be required to accept Obamacare and to accept Obamacare patients.
Insert horror movie scream here.
Exactly.
Now look, we only got like 8 minutes left, 7 minutes left. Before we get out of here, there was one other little thing I wanted to kick around tonight, and you've already caught some flack for it today.
Yeah, a little bit.
You had written an article on our website earlier today about Alabama's Tea Party putting forth a Republican in a primary.
Right. Well, actually, I think I actually misquoted. I'm not sure if this is what you'd call a primary or a runoff, because there is there's a fellow leaving. I can't remember his name now, who's leaving the legislature early.
But this is for his seat.
Yes, this is for his seat.
And there is an establishment GOP
candidate whose name is Bradley Byrne.
And a quote-unquote Tea Party candidate. Well, I can't even say quote-unquote. I mean, he really is a Tea Party candidate.
Yeah, his name is Dean Young, who may be a fine man. But my problem with Dean Young is that he apparently is kind of handpicked, or he certainly got the moral support of Judge Roy Moore. Now,
people may remember Judge Roy Moore.
Yeah, because you remember, he's the one who took the stand and actually lost his judge's job.
That's right.
I think it was on Alabama's Supreme Court. I think it was our Chief Justice.
Yeah.
But he lost his job, at least temporarily, for refusing to take down the Ten Commandments. Well, I was one of those people that said, yeah, leave those Ten Commandments up. They're in virtually every courthouse all over the country.
Yeah.
Why pick on us? Leave them up, because they are a foundation of American law. I mean, it's not the only basis for American law, but the Ten Commandments are definitely part of American law.
So your problem with this fella's backing by Judge Roy Moore has very little to do with whether or not he took a stand with the Ten Commandments.
It has absolutely nothing to do with that. Roy Moore, he might even be a small government conservative. But he is also, Roy Moore is a social engineer.
And
a right-wing social engineer.
Which is just as bad as any of the left-wing progressive social engineering that Barack Obama has done. I mean, those types of social engineers, bad.
In government, the word social has absolutely no place in my book. In engineering,
you should never put those two words together.
Exactly. Because let me tell you what right-wing social engineering looks like. They tell you who you can marry.
Mm-hmm. They tell you what kind of sex you can have.
That's right. In other words, folks, right-wing social engineering is every bit as invasive into your life as left-wing social engineering. It's just coming from a different place. That's all.
And a lot of times it is masked with the words Christian values. Which would mean that, like, if you object, and this is pretty much where Casey's flack came from. If you object to Roy Moore, well, then you must object to Christian values.
Or you must just object to a quote-unquote real Republican, because the comment that I have was that apparently Dean Young is the real deal, and Bradley Byrne is the Republican wannabe. Honestly, I don't know Bradley Byrne. I don't. I mean, I have no idea whether he's a great candidate or not. I do know that his opponent, which is being touted as the Tea Party candidate, is if he is backed by Roy Moore, then he's going to he will have a desire to social engineer his Christian values into the fabric of law. And
his personal
Christian values.
Interpretation
yes.
of Christian values.
And frankly,
about that,
from the things that he said, most of those all come out of the Old Testament.
Yeah.
And I'm just not for that now. I mean, I'm sorry. Just because somebody is a Christian does not mean that they're a good candidate for public office. That is not a criteria to judge a candidate on.
No, because not all Christians are.
And folks, I'm a Christian too. And maybe we're supposed to be standing with our brothers in Christ. No. Not when it comes to United States law.
That would also be like saying that this Dean Young guy, he's Christian, Bradley Byrne, not Christian.
Yeah, I'm not willing to make that. I'm not willing to make that kind of call. Again, I don't know either man, but I do know who's backing one of them. And look, Bradley Byrne being packed by the establishment GOP here in Alabama. I'm not comfortable. I'm not comfortable with that either.
No.
What I'm saying is, it looks like the Tea Party, as far as I'm concerned, they picked a bad choice. Leave the social engineers out of the American politics, period. Tea Party, get your darn act together here in the state of Alabama.
And with that, we are at the end of our rainbow. But we can't get out of here without mentioning a few folks.
Right.
We can't get out of here without saying the words, bacon is meat candy.
And if you want some meat candy, go to our sponsors page, click on the ad for
baconfreak.com.
And if you're still hungry after you've ordered some baconfreak.com bacon, then go to myfoodstorage.com and get yourself some food that'll last for 25 years.
And if you may be interested in securing your identity, we got you covered there too on our sponsors page.
Yes, you need to go and click on the little link that says LifeLock, because LifeLock will protect your identity, because it's all you got, folks. When it really comes down to it, your identity is all you got.
While we're talking about life and keeping it, you're trying to quit smoking, trying to get a little healthier, we got something for you there too.
V2 Cigs.
V2Cigs.com.
The best electronic cigarette on the market, top rated, #1. Go there.
And if you're looking for your sports fix,
well, there you got to go to honestanswer.com. Under the channels page, just hover your little mouse over channels, and you will see Sports World Radio. Click on Sports World Radio and let Jeff and Sean get you educated and brought up to the minute in what is happening in the sports world.
Fastest hour in sports.
On the internet.
Now, if you're not really looking for your sports fix, these are dark times. You may need a spiritual fix. Hey, man, we got you there, too.
Challenge from the Heart with Pastor Rick Hope.
Hope. The man's last name is Hope. And by the way, y'all please be in prayer for Pastor Rick Hope as he is traveling from the great state of Texas to the great state of Arkansas right now on purpose, believe it or not. I'm wondering if this is like a Jonah in the whale and he's having to go to Nineveh. I can't imagine anybody going to Arkansas on purpose, but...
Is there a Nineveh, Arkansas?
It must be. That's the land of the Clintons. Be afraid, Rick.
We're praying for you. We're praying for you, brother.
All right. There is one more thing. One more group that we can't leave out of the conversation, man.
Yeah, because, see, if you're listening to us tonight, there are several different platforms upon which you may be listening to Honest Answer Radio. You could be listening to us on honestanswerradio.com under our channels page, or you could be listening to us right now through goingbeyondradio.com.
Yeah, and going through Going Beyond Radio, you can also find us on Shoutcast, Live 365, Tuned In, Blueberry. Goodness gracious.
iTunes.
Man, Going Beyond Radio is everywhere. But they're not, dude, they don't just have Honest Answer.
Nope.
This is Halloween. Get y'all's butt over to Going Beyond Radio tonight. I would be willing to bet that there's some pretty good paranormal radio.
There's going to be some good old scary paranormal supernatural radio going on.
I done said that one time. But I can't get over that. They got a demonologist, man.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on over there. Marty and I talk about that, every show, but there's a lot more than that going over there. Y'all need to check out goingbeyondradio.com and look at all the quality shows that they've got going on.
All right. Well, that stuff being said, that puts us at the end of our rainbow, and we won't be back again until Tuesday.
And maybe Marty won't sound like Mr. Haney by then.
Yeah, that would be lovely. That would really, really be lovely. So until next week, you guys hang in there. Keep fighting the good fight. We'll see you guys Tuesday.
Good night, y'all.